In today's video, we're going to be diving in some tips and tricks to help you fight off the Terminids. Now, I know there are going to be a countless combo of weapons and stratagems that I just won't be able to cover, but I wanted to put something together out there that would help those who might not even know where to begin. Before we dive into specific enemies, the first tip I want to cover is that many of the low to mid level tier enemies that you're going to fight have the ability to actually trigger a bug breach. Now you'll notice this when they start to release an orange mist from their mouth, and once this happens you only have a few seconds to actually take them out to prevent this before the breach is activated, so always keep an eye out for this. There is actually a cooldown to this whole thing, but that would be for a whole nother video. Alright, so let's dive into specific enemy types. Now first up is going to be the scavengers, which you're going to see me fight here, and also the Bile Spitters, which I'll put a picture up here as well. These guys are easily dispatched with basically anything that you have on you. Even melee is not out of the question, but they can quickly swarm you and kind of get you confused with some of the larger enemies, allowing them to attack you, so just be aware of that. They don't have any armor, so basically you can shoot them anywhere and you should be able to shred through their 60 health. Also note though, with the Bile Spitters, they can explode and cause slight damage that way to you. Up next is going to be the pouncers. Now these guys are a little bit more annoying as they can leap at you from a pretty good distance, but don't worry because again, they don't have any armor and only 60 health, so they're easily taken out. Just have to be mindful when there's multiple of them and they start to leap at you in groups. Now we're going to move on to hunters, which start appearing at the medium difficulty and up. They have between 130 and 160 health depending on what difficulty you're playing, and they have two main attacks. One, an acid spit, and a mix of slashes, pounces, and tongue strikes. Again, they don't have any armor, but they are a little bit more dangerous in the groups. Now moving on to Shriekers. Now these little flying bat bugs are annoying at best. Their biggest threat is the dive attack, which deals 50 damage and if you don't see it coming can hurt quite a bit. Almost any weapon can kill them, but laser weapons work especially well since it slices right through their wings and sends them basically crashing down to the ground. Now you'll begin to see these guys in the game once you start doing challenging and above in difficulty. Now we're moving on to armored enemies, and warriors have level 1 armor and between 250 and 325 health depending on what difficulty you're playing. Aiming for the head is basically the fastest way to drop them, and their melee slash attack deals 55 damage, so you don't really want them to get too close to you. Do note that there are a couple different variants of these guys. There is the Bile Warriors, which can leave acid on the ground on exploding after death, and the Alpha Warriors, which are the darker variants which have the higher health, and they are only appearing in the impossible difficulty. Now these enemies pack 500 health and again deal about 55 damage with their melee attacks. Their distinction is their armored head is covered in medium armor, so shots there won't really do much. Instead, try to aim at their underside, their tiny claws on the front, or rear legs as they're either lightly armored or have no armor at all. Do note that they can hunker down and shield themselves with their head, so the best approach is to try to flank or hit them while they're rushing. Hive Guards also start to appear as early as the easy difficulty. Now moving on to spewers. These guys can be a little annoying as they like to set up shop and be almost like a mobile artillery at times. They begin to show up in medium difficulty and you only really have to worry about their long range attacks when you're playing at extreme difficulty and up. At close range, they spew bile and cause acid burns that way, and like Bile Spitters, they can explode on death. They do have 750 health with light to medium armor, again depending on what difficulty you're playing, and their mouth and sides are their weak points, so try to shoot them there to bring them down quickly. Just note that hitting them on their sides or back may trigger them to explode on death. Up next are the Brood Commanders. Now there are two different variants. There's the Brood Commander, which appears on Trivial and Up difficulty, and the Alpha Commander, which is only found on Impossible difficulty. They have between 800 and 1000 health and deal between 70 damage for a charge and 55 with a slash attack. They also have the ability to call in 3 warriors as a reinforcement, which can make these guys kind of annoying to fight. Armor wise, they're mostly light with unarmored legs that you can target to slow them down. Hitting them just under their armored head can also cause a bleed effect. So in my opinion, one of the most frustrating enemies, Stalkers. They have 800 health, move extremely fast, and can turn invisible, only revealing themselves when they're about 20 meters away. They attack with a 35 damage tongue strike and a 50 damage slash, and they do also have a knockback that can leave you exposed. To make it worse, when they retreat, they can actually regenerate 50 health per second. Definitely prioritize them when they appear because they can quickly overwhelm you, and Stalkers start to show up at the challenging difficulty. So let's move on to the heavy armored enemies, and first up is going to be the Charger, which there are multiple versions of, but their main attacks are a Stomp that deals 350 damage, a Trample which deals 90, and when they hit you at the end of a charge, they can actually deal 30 damage. They spawn from medium difficulty and on and have around 2400 health, again with the heavy armor. Their rear is unarmored and their underside is only lightly armored, though it is hard to hit. Rockets, recoilless rifles, and other explosives are your best tools here. If you can get a thermite grenade on them, you can actually wedge it in between their armor panels and kill them that way as well. It does take a little bit to destroy them, and once damaged by explosives, their armor plating does begin to fall off, exposing their flesh that is only lightly armored underneath, which allows you to attack it with other weapons. Now our next heavy armored enemy is going to be the Impaler, and these have a massive 4000 health pool and heavy armor again. They appear on hard difficulty and higher, and their attacks include a 350 damage stomp and a tentacle strike that can hit for 150 damage each. The trick here is that when they burrow and unleash their tentacles, their head actually becomes completely exposed and unarmored, making it the best time to either throw explosives or shoot it with rockets and quickly dispatch these guys. And lastly are going to be the Bile Titans. These are the biggest bug threat that you'll run across, and the Bile Titans only appear on challenging difficulty and above. They have a massive 6500 health pool and tank level armor. Their attacks include a Bile Spew which causes acid burns, again 3 damage per second for 4 seconds, but they can also leave an area of effect acid pool as well. They can also do a Stomp, which is an enormous 3000 damage per hit, with a 50 damage AoE knockdown, so just be aware of that. Now most of their body is heavily armored except for the underside, which is unarmored, so medium penetration weapons can also damage it. Explosives, rockets, and grenades are going to be more of an essential way to take it down. Now note that a well-placed headshot with heavy ordnance like the rockets can sometimes actually kill them in a single hit, and again damaging their armor plates does expose their unarmored flesh for easier follow-up damage. Now that's it for my Terminid guide. Hopefully this helps you better handle these fights in the future. Now be sure to check out my next 2 guides coming out shortly, covering the automatons and the illuminate. Now if you like the content, consider dropping a like and subscribing for even more Helldivers tips, and I'll see you in the next one.